Alright guys, now back to that Samsung. There it is. That's what I think of this phone. Alright, isn't it sweet? Wonderful thing. That's all it's worth to me. And now getting back to the plate. There we go. And that was from 65 yards out. There's another one down there now. That's a 6-inch plate down there that the wife is popping at. Annie Oakley. She's never ever used a rifle and relatively new into weapons at all. But we picked a day. She took the day off and here we are. So there it is. My SIG 5.56 and it's got that PFI scope on it, which is a phenomenal piece. I'm telling you. Now we haven't touched it at all. No focusing. No, nothing, and it's right on the money. It's going to be amazing once we do play with it a little bit. And again, with the wife never even using a scope or a rifle, sitting down and doing that to a target at 65 yards out. Now 65 yards isn't a lot, but it's a lot for somebody that's never used a rifle. And that's the PFI. It's the CQLR1, a 14x24, and great scope. And a great wife. All right, guys, here we go. This is a new shotgun I just picked up. Actually, I picked it up yesterday. Come on, let's get the lock out of it first. Get back there. Here we go. This is the Legacy. It's actually from Legacy Sports in Reno, Nevada is the importer for it. And I'll tell you what, I heard about it a few months back. I was looking to order one. That's a long story, though. We'll take that to another place. But in the interim, I did find one of the shops nearby, south of me, was able to order it and had it in like 5 days. And it would have been sooner, but there was a 2-day weekend in there, so it took 5 days. But in the interim, it also took me another 2 to 3 weeks before I was able to actually get there to pick it up. Because I was busy on the other side of the state, so I didn't feel like, driving, hour and a half, 2 hours each way to pick it up, especially when I had so much going on the other side of the state. And they held it; they were kind enough, and it was no big deal. However, it's a Legacy. This is the Gladius 20 gauge semi-automatic. It's their home defense piece, and this is what we have. It comes with the 2 Picatinis on the sides, so for light or something. It comes with a bottom Picatinny. It comes with the down handle on the forearm, the downspout. Has a Picatinny on the top. It has a red fiber on the front, and it has the green fibers on the rear. It's got windage and elevation. It's got a release. It's got an adjustable cheek. It's got a little spot for 2 rounds, whatever 2 rounds is going to do for you. And I'll tell you what, before I picked it up, first I seen it, I liked it. I tried ordering it from a store rather, that showed me a brochure on it, and after I said yes, I'll take one, months went by and I never heard anything. So I then called another store and they told me 3 to 5 days because of the weekend. Now in the interim, between the day that I actually ordered it and the day that I picked it up, which I say it was 3 to 5 before it came in, but it was like another 2 to 3 weeks before I actually got there. I was at the range one day, and there was a gentleman there that had one. And I said, so, well, isn't that a pisser? I said, I just ordered one. I'd never seen them. All right? I seen it on paper. I talked to the importer, and they talked it up a storm. I said, so at that point, now here you are. So I says, it must be for me to have one of these things or not. So tell me about it. So he told me that he's put just about any round that he has through this thing, and it feeds it without a problem. All right, not a hiccup, a burp, a fart, nothing. Okay, no matter what you put in there, it doesn't have to be high brass, high velocity. He says it feeds it fine. It's not a problem. And I said, well, that's great. I said, because I do have a Mossberg version, not the tactical looking like this, the standard Mossberg, well, so-called Mossberg. And I says, and I had a problem at first with that. It wouldn't take anything but high brass. So I says, now it's getting a little bit easier where it's taking some other, but it's still looking for that hotter load. It's not going to do anything with some light stuff just yet. It may over time as I break it in, but speaking as now, it doesn't. He goes, no. He said, but he did have one problem with this the first day. He said he bought it, he loaded it up, and he had a couple of problems with it ejecting and feeding. So he stopped there. He ran some high brass through it for a while that day just so he could run it and have fun with it. And then that night when he got home, he did a little research, and the research paid off. Now I'm going to have to put this up for a minute, and you're not going to really see what I'm doing. Well, maybe you will. Okay, what the problem is, and he had showed me, you just take this forearm off. He said this was greased slightly, so if you were to put your finger on it, you'd feel the grease. He says, but it was a little sticky. He says, so they told him to spray it down with some lube, and feel free to spray it down, and then use it, and don't worry about it. And then maintain it with your normal cleaning and things. So he said he had done that, and the next day he went to the range, and it fed everything flawlessly. He said it ran like a brand new gun, which it was, but it did everything they told him it was going to do. So I took advantage of his research, and before I went to the range with this, when I picked it up yesterday, or the day before, I don't even remember when I actually picked it up. Yesterday, I think it was. What's today? Tuesday. Yeah, I picked it up yesterday. I brought it home, and that's the first thing I did was I sprayed that down. So anyway, so far, you got your brake in the front. You got your red fiber in the front. You got your green fibers in the rear. Elevation and windage. Tactical look, Picatinis all over the place. It also has, which is nice, you have your magazine lock. Now, why do you need a magazine lock? Well, if you lock this, say let's for instance I load this up with birdshot, and I pop off a few rounds, and all of a sudden I need it for something else. There's a bear attacking, whatever the case may be, and I need a hot round. Well, if I lock the magazine, pull back the charging handle, I can take my hot rounds and load it in right here, and then release it right there, pop my round. Every time I pop a round, it's going to lock back like a manual. Alright, load my next hot round, bang, I'm done. It's going to lock back. Once that threat or whatever the reason was why I needed those hot rounds, or vice versa, whatever it may be, is over, I can unlock the magazine and continue on with my automatic feed. So for that reason, I find it to be helpful. Will I ever use it? I don't know, but it's there. Now, the gentleman that I was talking to at the range that filled me in about this had also told me that they make an extension for the mag extension, which I have the store checking on that as we speak. They told me to call them back in about an hour. And this was a problem at first. And when I say a problem, it wasn't a serious problem, and it was only a problem for the first 8 to 10 rounds I actually loaded into it. All right, right here. Let me drop the charge on it. This here is not going to move or go down like your normal shotguns. You have to hit the slide release first. Now, I don't say you have to hit that first and push this down, but you have to hit that in order for that to go and load. So if you're just used to tipping in right here off front, tipping in and pushing down, you're not going to be able to do it with this one. If you put your whole round on it, it'll go down. If you come back here and tip in, it goes down. If you want to feed them manually, it's going to push it up, it's going to go in. So you come around, you push up, you push it in. Come around, push up, push it in. All right, you don't have a problem. It's automatically going to do it for you. So once you realize what it does, within the first 6, 8, 7 rounds that you load it, it's done. But anyway, it's a great gun. It's a great defense piece. It's a 20 gauge. My wife likes it. She likes 20 gauge. She likes 410s. She doesn't mind shooting it. She enjoys shooting it, which is great because she's not going to kill herself trying to shoot a 12 gauge or pull the trigger and get knocked on her ass and have a round go through the ceiling because she's not practicing with it. She's going to enjoy practicing with this, therefore she will enjoy shooting it and she'll be able to use it when needed. So, and without it killing her. So at that point, this is going to be a good all-around defense piece. There's nothing wrong with a 20 gauge. You know, for those of you who want to have 12s and use them, that's fine. You know, but you also got to remember, if you want your wife to use it, think about her. She may be able to use a few rounds here and there. Some women can handle it, some can't. Right? And if they don't like it, they're not going to practice with it. If it hurts them, they're not going to practice with it. If they don't practice with it, they're not going to be any good with it, and therefore they might as well not even have it. All right? Give them something they can use. But anyway, I enjoy this. I'm going into 20s all the way down. I'm going to retire my 12s. I'm not going to sell them. I'm going to keep them. I will use them occasionally. But again, 20 is going to be my new home defense piece. And this thing is working just fine. Well guys, it's done. Alright, as done as it's going to get. And if I do anything now, it's just a little adjustment or something. And when I say a little adjustment, it means, you know, maybe tightening up the shoulder strap, but there's plenty of holes so I can do that. And if I make it 2, I'll have to cut some off naturally because it'll be too much. And I'm sure that's going to have to get done as the leather stretches a little bit. The downriggers over here, they're pretty set. Alright. Now I haven't got it hooked up to a belt. What I did was basically I just took a piece of strap because I'm out in the shop with no pants on at 11. Well, I got pants on, but I got no pants on. I got sweats on at 11:30 at night. So I have no belt on, you know, or pants that, you know, that would hold a belt with belt loops and stuff. So I'm kind of makeshifting the part that this is hooked to. But basically that's it. So the decisions I have to make now is, after I wear it a few days, I want to cut off the belt loops to make the holster a little smaller, or just leave them on there. So after I wear it for a few days, that'll make the decision up. And if they're getting in my way, I'll cut it. If it's not, I'll leave it be, because again, most of the time it's going to be concealed, so it doesn't bother me all that much. And if I want to take these off and wear it on the holster or belt, I still can. These holes doesn't really bother me because again, it's concealed, and that's not really hurting the integrity of the system. So, you know, I got to decide if I just want to cut them off or not. Not a big deal. The downriggers, like I say, they're all adjusted, and I can do 1 more inch if I have to bring them up, or I can drop it down 2 inches. So that gives me a 3-inch leeway on the belt loops. Other than that, it fits pretty decent. It feels comfortable. I don't really realize that it's there. The shoulder strap isn't falling down, and if it was, I would just tighten it up another hole. It comes in and out. Now it still has a little bit of movement in the front there, but I'm not too concerned about that because again, the holster's basically, it's new. I bought them some time ago, but I'd never used them, right? Because I was using the Kydex holster. So these have hanging around. So it's like a new leather holster. That's the way it's going to be. So I may put some mink oil inside and loosen it up a little bit. I don't know. But again, it's not too bad. You know, the riggers are holding it down. Everything is fine. And a little snugness isn't too bad because you don't want the gun to fall out. And basically that's it. So that's where I'm at. It's done.